Hello and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of long-time friends and nerdy-ass Tumblr users transcend geography through the power of Discord to play Dungeons and Dragons and critically fumble a lot. Currently, they are in the province of Alamaver, specifically the free city of Al-Zorhai, um, where they are going to go off and try to kill an Umber Hulk at the behest of uh, an ancient brass dragon to be able to join the brass arrows and do the hunting that they actually need to do. Of course, they wouldn't be them if they didn't take several detours as they happen to be passing, and this evening will prove to have many delights for various individuals and bits and pieces, so there's very much that. But in the meantime, they've just finished getting Nye and Darwin some rather spiffy looking and very useful new armor, and are now heading to the starlit sky, which exists in a little alley just off the God's Hall, so that they can buy, among other things, raw diamond, because Hazel feels desperate need for same. I had Froseth, by the way, explaining to Darwin that it was probably not a wise idea to tell a cleric and a paladin that they could not go and do their devotions to their gods before they're due to cross a desert waste to go kill something. Because he seems a sensible and wise soul, on the whole.
Seems fair.
Good
Good.
God, Frozen, this is fun.
I try not to NPC him too often because really that's just I couldn't do it the way Antheus does it. I just could not. In any case, so yes, they are currently having left they've currently left Valare Leathers and are crossing the yeah, crossing town in order to get to where they need to go. Is there anything they want to do on the way?
I'm making as much of a beeline as possible, so not for me, no.
Okay.
I'm trailing along looking at things.
I mean, it's your kind of souk style market, so it's a lot of open air stalls. The brightly colored tents from when you first arrived are much brighter now that you're actually in late afternoon sun. You're a couple of hours away from sunset. Um, Lots of crying of wares, and there is a lot of song and story in various languages happening all around the place, and it all sort of blends together in this rather interesting harmony. Sometimes is a bit more discordant than others, but obviously it can't always mesh. Most of the time, though, it does seem to turn the background hum into something a bit more lyrical, musical. It gives the city a bit more of a beat. So yeah, eventually you turn up. It's about there. The little seems to be magic alley, as
It
it
has a
were.
beat, and the bard is dancing to it.
Are you done? Yes. As you turn out, as you turn up to the mouth of the alley, which is very close and obviously quite dim because buildings are kind of blocking off the sun. There's still the colorful awnings over doorways and windows, but they're obviously they don't look as bright because shadows. And as you're heading in, uh, this cart wheels out at rather surprising speed. And when it goes past you, you notice that the reason you didn't see the person pushing it is because the person pushing it is a gnome. That would be Emmy. So it pulls the thing to a stop. Oh yeah,
Hey,
fuel and other supplies. It takes a lot to
ah,
keep something that size in the air.
and some of that fuel is shiny things?
Ma- magical, certainly. I suppose some
Oh,
of it's
okay.
shiny.
Took me a second, sorry.
Just blinking at Hazel. And climbs up on her crates to pat Hazel on the head. I take it you're after shiny things then.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you got stocked up on the rest of it.
Uh, yeah, I think we're stocked. Are we? God, I don't know anymore.
Uh, things like, you know, tent shelters, water. Water particularly.
Mm-hmm.
And no, none of you guys have actually considered that
Mm-mm.
as far as, well, I mean,
Nope.
Uh-oh.
and if you're going tomb raiding, I hope one of you knows how to use a set of thieves' tools. Anyhow, hops down. Good luck! Vroom.
Well,
Crap.
we still have the thing that Mama provided, and I'm pulling out the jug of the water jug thing.
Yeah, that does only fill once a day, and if you're going to be sweating out in the
Mm-hmm. That's not going to do it, Hazel. We need a bit more than that. And yeah, thief tools. We're kind of hosed.
Hmm.
Well, anyway, let's get the diamonds and then figure out what we're doing after that because that's a sticky situation. And yeah, we have to figure out water. Lots of water.
or at least enough.
Lots of water. This is IC, mind you. I'm just lots of water. And then I think, or at least enough. No, lots of water. With our luck, lots of water.
Okay,
And
yeah.
all that is in character and out loud. So all you guys see is me just standing going, oh, yeah, lots of water. Lots of water. Anyway, sorry. Right. Diamonds. Right. You needed diamonds. Okay. Let's get you diamonds.
So
Good idea.
Diamonds are a cleric's best friend. Anyway. Or at least our best friend if you need them. So, hey.
Uh-huh.
so entering the little alleyway, it's a bit like being in Belarus all over again if you ignore the shape of the architecture, just because it's buildings that seem quite tall when they're crammed up fairly close to you, and there's not as much outdoorsy. Also, this is probably the only place in the city where they aren't displaying wares outside for probably fairly obvious reasons. The starlit sky is about halfway down. I mean, you're passing places with strange herbs hanging in the windows and places with some kind of creepy looking jewelry and
I think that one moved. No, wait. That was just a light. Sorry.
you hope.
I'm really hoping. It just kind of went. Dee, 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 dee.
There's one that does seem to involve animals of some description, and they're the windows lined with sort of. There's a shelf up above which is cages and something about the size of a teacup with a lot of legs moves.
Don't like that.
And at the bottom, though, there's a fairly large pen that appears to be full of some kind of weasel. And they're just rolling around and playing and just boing, 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 boing. but above that, there's a spider the size of dinner plate. There is what appears to be some kind of scorpion. There's something sort of an iridescent gold kind of color that, if, as you're looking at it, sort of rears up to show itself to be this fairly large hooded snake, opens its mouth, drops fang, and hisses at you. The weasels don't seem bothered by any of this.
And it's just acting like it insulted its mother. I mean, I might have. I don't know.
Yeah, I think today is just veered into weird.
Don't look at that other thing. It's got too many legs. Those are cute, but no. It's like all the no is over here, so all the okay, I can deal with that is down there. Anyway,
I'm thinking there actually might be something up with my internet connection because some of your sound and your actual words aren't syncing up.
I got that too, so it looks like his end.
Yeah,
My
I had
aunt's
a bit
doing
of
that for me.
distortion as well.
Well,
Odd.
we'll just have to see how that goes because I think we're about balanced out now, just about
Okay.
ish. But yeah, no, Firefox has been giving me shit lately, so anyway, yeah, so you do eventually get to the starlit sky, which in the window is just these little drawer type things, and they are full of gems of various colors cut to various sizes, just in their little containers against a dark blue velvet background, so it really does look like the most star-filled sky imaginable.
Huh. Accurate.
Pretty. Oh,
And I'm walking in.
oh all right.
Yes. Inside, what you see looks like an elf, but the skin is this deep orange. The hair is sort of a darker orange brown with streaks of what looks like gold. For those of you who have lived in deciduous woodland, she looks like an autumn oak tree in coloration. And I see Antheus going, I know what that is.
I think not commenting.
Yep.
Yes, he doesn't have to comment. He like Noms has the face, but yes, see what I got.
I know exactly what this is. Hazel doesn't. I do.
Yeah, so looks in at Hazel, sort of wandering in and probably just stopping, knowing Hazel like, eh. Can I help you?
Hi. I'm a cleric, and I need diamonds because magic, for some reason, eats diamonds.
I mean, well, you're not wrong.
She's just laughing, like she thinks this is the most adorable thing.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Well, you're not wrong.
Completely confused.
Oh, I'm probably gonna have to grab your recording, Ethan, because this is.
It's
I'm.
happening on my end as well.
Oh, shit. Okay. Never mind. We'll just have to live
The
with it.
stuttering and slight robot. There we went. There we go.
Yeah, it's happening with me as well, and I don't know why. We'll have to have a poke at it during the break. And
Hmm.
in any case, she reaches out and cups Hazel's face in her hands, going, "It's a sacrifice." little one.
Hmm.
And given what I understand clerics need diamond for, the question becomes which would you rather sacrifice, gold or blood?
Actually thinking about this now.
She's just giving you this look like.
Gold, Hazel. Gold is much more preferable at sacrifice.
Allow me to put it to you another way. Can you earn more gold?
Point.
So gold is much more easily replaced as far as I've ever been able to understand it.
Yeah.
I hope you have plans to apologize to your people.
No, that's not how I understood what you meant about sac. I thought. Sorry, my brain went somewhere completely different for sacrificing.
Oh, no, dear. I understand what you're saying now, but I have a feeling that uh, the amount of blood you'd need would probably end you. Gold you can repeat. That kind of blood sacrifice you could only do once, and you would
Mm,
deprive them of you.
That would be very bad,
nice.
Hazel. We
We
like you.
we don't do deprivation here anyway. She actually turns around to the back counter and comes out with 5 glasses of actually quite cold, citrusy smelling drink. Clink.
Ooh.
So, how much exactly were you looking for?
Uh, okay. Already got. Uh, already got about 200 golds worth of diamonds. And the
Okay.
spell
Well, Hazel,
consumes.
if things
I
were to
need at least
really,
another 100
hmm,
gold worth. That's just the once. If I need to do it any more times, that's I think 300 each time.
That's as far as I've been given to understand it. Of course,
So
keep in mind, just as a reminder, Froseth, Darvin, Hazel don't have to worry about it quite so much. Pendant, those got restored, remember?
way back when.
hmm,
So maybe
let's make it 400 golds worth.
and that would give you
We can
enough
at
to,
least do it twice.
okay. If things go really sideways, and yeah, if things go sideways enough, we need to do it more than that. Yeah, things went really sideways.
Something like this probably be the party funds.
Yeah, they've been keeping relatively good tally,
Mhm.
and you guys
Yep.
did make a killing in Belarus, so you know.
So much platinum.
Oh, it's up here.
Yeah, she measures out. Yeah, she looks at Hazel and goes, "What I will do, because transportation is usually a bit of an issue with that kind of thing. I will do 100 in chips, in small pieces, and the other 300 in dust. It's a little bit
Ooh,
easier to handle."
Mm.
that'll definitely work.
And thinks about it for a moment as she's counting things out. Um,
Would I be able to exchange? I'm pulling up the other 4 that I still have, the 4 diamonds. Would we be able to swap these out for chips or dust?
Looks at them for a minute. Well, some people do prefer them whole. I could probably do some things with these. Certainly. Which would you prefer?
The chips.
Right. So now you have 300 in diamond chips about the size of the average aspirin, and a bag of 300 gold's worth of diamond dust.
Smart move, Hazel. Nicely done.
And if you
Yay.
had any gems that aren't diamonds, I happily trade. That might take the actual platinum cost down somewhat.
First, do we have any?
Only thing I've got is this
I'm fairly sure you
overly
guys
shiny
still.
dagger,
Oh,
which I pulled out the ornamental dagger we found way back in Star Coast.
just as an aside, I thought you guys still had a bag of gems. That's what Clarity said anyway. But
That's what I thought, and I thought all that information was going to Froseth.
All I was given for party funds was the actual like coin amount. I wasn't told
Oh,
anything.
she
Oh, well.
she did mention when she was reading it out, but we'll leave it at the shiny ornamental dagger thing. Just looking at it and going, I don't think I could exactly take this apart and sell the pieces, but there is something I could do with it. Give me one moment, and steps into the back. At which point you get this voice from up in one of the higher rafters, in Draconic. And don't you go trying to take anything. You look up, and there is an indigo fairy dragon. And Flitty is, hello! You travel with these? Yes, I travel with these. They're my friends.
I can go straight to Sylvan. Hi, how are you?
I am well enough, thank you. I like this one who I am working with. She is nice.
Yay!
Are you nice?
I'd like to think, yeah.
Looks at Flitty. Oh yeah. She brought me back when I got deaded. Very well, then I will only nip if they try to steal things. Although I will nip a great deal. Much
Fair.
nipping.
Fair. All you guys hear is me just suddenly go fair, because that's common.
The indigo fairy dragon up above looks a little bit bewildered. You get Flitty going. Not all of us understand common. I only get a little bit. And turns back up to the new one. He's agreeing. He's not gonna steal anything. He knows what it's like to get nipped. I have to nip him sometimes.
I'm just nodding. I'm just nodding enthusiastically.
They're my pets, and I look after them.
Accurate.
Just thumbs up.
The elf of sorts comes back out, and where she was holding the intricate, apparently piece of crap dagger, what she is now holding is this sort of armband kind of deal. You can just about see where the ornamental jewels have been bent into the metal. It was the dagger at one point, but now it is a very pretty piece of jewelry.
Oh, wow.
How What?
I can guarantee you that this will sell for a great deal more than it was originally worth. Um, I can happily sell it on, or I can take an extra 10 gold and you can sell it to uh, Astoy. I think would really be able to use that. He tends to sell to some of the wealthier Egref merchants, so he'd probably give you quite a good price for it.
Hmm.
So it's up to you. I can simply either I can buy it from you for 10 gold, which is probably more than you would have originally got for it from looks on some of your faces, or I can take 10 gold and you can try to sell it yourselves and probably make a bit more of a profit. It's up to you.
Your thoughts, guys?
Probably should try to get what it's actually worth if we have time
Yeah, if
to
we have the time, sure.
look around once we're back in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're still technically in the city.
You know,
Well, once
when
we're back
from the next immediate adventure.
Very well. And actually tucks it in a little wooden presentation case.
Mm-hmm.
Slides it onto the counter.
Greatly appreciated. Excellent work, by the way. Very lovely.
Thank you very much. At which point you get Flitty going.
Into the bag.
You're taking good care of your friend up there, aren't you? And in Sylvan she replies, "Yes, I am. But it's good of you to check on your cousins." You also travel with a fairy dragon, switching back to common.
Uh, yes, we do.
That speaks well for you. I tend to find they're lucky.
We've saved each other, although I think I think Flitty here has actually probably saved us more than we've saved Flitty, but we have saved each other.
And Flitty just sort of poses on top of Furseth's head, just pride.
That look is well deserved.
I
Very much so.
I can well imagine. Also, just one last thing. I note that the half elf has given me some fairly bewildered looks, particularly when she first walked in. I'll give you the chance to ask.
Hazel?
I'm trying to think of how to say it without coming off real awful.
Just
been
go
given-
ahead and ask. I'll take it in the spirit in which it's meant.
What kind of elf are you?
I am Janissari.
Hmm.
We fit the seasons.
Oh.
I fit autumn.
Huh.
Harvest in plenty, hence the drinks and hospitality.
Praise Paylor.
Um. No, never mind.
Ask it.
Well, you
Say
said
it.
I'm getting there. Give me a second. Again, in the spirit of intent, you say you fit the seasons. Do you change with the seasons, or are there
I can.
spring, fall?
I can if I want to.
Ah,
And
I was just curious.
sometimes if there's a term that's used in this particular province is if there is big mood, it'll change at that point. For instance, I spent about 8 years as winter when my sister died.
I understand. Fascinating. Thank you for allowing me to ask.
That's quite all right. And just so that you understand why you don't see us very often, Mostly we live in the Feywild. I just live in the little version.
Alarmed as hell.
Excuse me?
Uh,
Why now?
Sorry, Feywild. Things there.
Look,
You're obviously far better,
look,
but just
hmm?
he looks at Hazel, then looks at Nye. You travel with this one, and you're worried about Feywild creatures from me.
no, not worried. Just worried for you.
Excuse me?
Huh?
Oh
Just,
boy.
just stuff there decides it wants to do something to somebody, and it might decide you're worth doing things to because you live here and not there, and stuff over there is weird.
Oh boy.
You're adventurers, are you not?
Yeah.
How much stuff over here does things to you on a regular basis?
Thank you.
That's a very
Thank
good
you.
point.
Thank you. Thank you. I was
And
about to
speaking.
go. I was about to say.
I'm still stuck on this one.
Oh, you've clearly been touched by something powerful from the Feywild.
Just constantly speaking now.
I have something for that one. Just rummages around again and comes out with it. Kind of looks like like more solid jelly, dusted with what appears to be confectioner's sugar. A little box of it. Slides it over to Hazel. Try one.
Ow.
It's very sweet and a little bit floral. But beyond that, you've got no the hell idea what it is.
I can see through time expression.
Yeah.
It stopped the squeaking at the very least.
Bless you.
She can keep the box. Slide.
Oh.
Just still, I can see through time.
And looks at
So
Nye
that's-
as if to go, if you've got anything, say it. They've already said way too much already. All right. You know where I am. Have a wonderful rest of the day.
You too.
Thank you.
Slides the box a little bit closer to Hazel just to make sure she understands yours now.
Box. This is just
It's not that big a box. It's, about the size of the average box of chocolates.
so.
Yeah.
No, a little bigger than that. It's
Okay. Anyway.
I'd say about 2/3 of the size of your average
Yep.
role-playing book that way, and the full length that way.
Gotcha.
So there's about
15.
something like that. Well, 14 now because she
Yeah,
just
that's
had
it.
one stuffed into her mouth. Pretty much.
All right, Hazel, let's go. Okay. So it was there, and then we were going, and we did the leather, and it was
You've still got about an hour to sunset.
right. There were 3 places we wanted to go. There
direction
were
is
2
the-
left.
God's
Hall.
Yeah, that was as far because basically you had the leather place,
Right.
the Starlit Sky,
Right.
and the God's Hall. You're
Right,
not quite at God's Hall time yet,
Ah,
and you still had things to find that you just remembered about.
right.
Basic desert
Water!
crossing supplies.
So let's go. Yeah. No, so at this point, since we're about to possibly delve out into the desert wilds, let's see about getting water and lots of it, or containers, or along those, or yeah. So, and just basic general supplies at this point, which we completely neglected.
Yeah. It. Mm, there needs to be a stat for shopping.
Uh,
Um,
Wisdom, charisma.
Weirdly, I was just gonna say survival, because from an urban perspective, it kind of is. Is it's all about tracking and knowing what you're looking for. It's the best I could come up
mhm.
with.
Investigation, maybe too.
Yeah. Depending on which way you want to approach it.
Yeah.
Well, given that for me at least, investigation is higher, I would go with that.
Or straight up charisma to know who to ask. There's a lot of ways you can approach it. Think outside the box and tell me how you're going to approach it so we can roleplay that appropriately.
Survival.
Um, I'm. Let's see.
Well, if Hazel is already hunting for signs of where do we find survival gear, make me a survival
6.
check. Hazel is still poking at the jelly things in the box and
Oh no.
going, I have no idea what these are. What are these?
Um. Hmm. I want to use investigation but I'm not certain how to put it.
It's a different kind of looking around. It's seeing if
Hmm.
there are any street signs,
Yeah, that's
who's walking away with what, that kind of situation.
that's
So,
yeah, that's basically what I was intending. Like, kind of
yep, go ahead and roll.
stepping back, taking an overall look, being like, okay, okay. So I would roll. Wow, ouch. That was fairly low, but
Yeah, it takes longer than you expected it to, but it suddenly occurs to you that, okay, so survival gear is going to be really important to people who are going out. So that's the
right.
brass arrows. And a lot of the shopping that they do is in the flint lock. So it's probably going to be around about there,
Hmm.
just outside the flintlock, because obviously more people than just adventurers need to buy this stuff, so it's got to kind of bridge both.
Hmm. So yeah, I mean, well, and since that's pretty well, really close to God's Hall, we're still well within a reasonable distance. So yeah, we'll head over in that direction, just looking for, like I said, basic general supplies, specifically lots of water, and any kind of rations or tools or anything else like that that we might need.
Yeah. As you're approaching, as you get closer, you can actually see is, yeah, this is survival gear. But as you're entering that district, there's a figure leaning on one of the few solid walls in the kind of market area. Um, Not overly tall, not overly short, wiry, muscled, and familiar. Alice, dressed quite casually. You can tell because of the silver white hair, which she's currently actually just wearing in a straight up bun. She watches you guys approach and she's like, ah, Emil owes me 2 gold.
What?
He was sure you guys weren't going to think of that. Hi.
That's fair. It was a close shave. It was close. We
I
really did.
I I I have to admit I was betting most of my afternoon break on that because and this doesn't affect later, by the way, and points to Remy, which is why I kind of wanted to catch you outside work hours. Um, I have something to ask you. Can I go along with you when you go? See, if I go with you and you guys win out, I'm still allowed to try to be a brass arrow whenever I want, but I can't get in and actually join another party because none of them take me seriously. Maybe it's because I'm a girl, maybe it's because I'm a blonde. I don't know, but they just pat me on the head and go back to waiting tables, and it's really aggravating. Anyway, I
Studio
do
Ghibli.
I do have a couple of things to recommend me. Number one, I've actually been out there, so I know the kinds of bits of terrain that you'd have to warn about. And second of all, I do know tombs and how to poke at traps until they stop working. I don't
That's a very
always
good point.
I don't always catch them very well, so I might need somebody to actually do the perception bits. But
There's
once,
there's that type of thing. Gotcha.
yeah, and then I can take them apart. Plus, I can fight, and I've got some other advantages that I hope don't actually have to come into play. Not like that.
Given some of the given some of the strongest people I've known were women, yeah, them patting you on the head, no, we can't stand for that. No, that's not done. Yes, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, you would be more than welcome. Anybody have any objections?
No objections at all.
I didn't think so.
Very
Hazel, like,
Studio Ghibli.
Hazel, I could see the hair. I kind of, yeah,
Burning colors and fury.
I saw the hair. I kind of figured that was the answer. But anyway, Remy, Nye, Process.
Nope.
Oh, Flitty.
Why
Ask
would
everybody. Why not?
I like her?
And so say all of us.
It's unanimous.
It's just room lightning smile. Just definitely discounting. I would just say, whatever, but unfortunately I gotta kind of pay Emil for the I don't know. How do you put that? Workspace.
Overhead?
I don't know. Anyway,
Overhead.
yeah. But point is that if this goes off well, I don't have to work there anymore. Anyway, I can tell you that there is a family of dwarves out just towards the edge of the flintlock. They're great for supplies. They do these canteens. They're not completely never ending, but they're kind of like the water canteen equivalent to bags of holding.
Oh, fascinating.
So, that's usually fairly helpful. They also know, the best things to send people with food wise.
I was gonna
They're
ask.
used to people. I mean, they think everybody here is crazy because, they're used to places where there's not quite this much sun. But yeah. Also, are you going to sunset devotions?
Yes.
Great!
Nearly vibrating now.
Great! I've got someone to sit with. Awesome! You guys go shop, and I'll meet back here.
And as we head in that general direction, I'm gonna turn to both Hazel and Remy, and I'm gonna be like, speaking of, how does that work? I mean,
If you
can we
want
all
to
go?
see it, come watch.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask. I didn't know if that was cool or
Well,
what.
that's the thing. The out of character box.
Mm-hmm.
Little word on the theology.
Mm.
There's no specific group worship for Tritherion. Tritherion is justice and vengeance, and that is very much of the moment. Remy can perform her devotions anywhere, but it's better in a consecrated space, and someplace like the God's Hall is going to be like a larger version of the multi-god shrine at Hearth Home. There might just actually be proper shrines instead of just discs on the walls. Pelor, being a sun god, has also got devotions for certain times of day.
Mhm.
And anyone is welcome to those because, while obviously clerics and paladins and apparently Alice take it a lot more seriously than others, um, Pelor watches over all.
Mhm.
Whereas Remy's is there when needed, whether people like it or not.
Right. Okay. Um, yeah, no, I mean, and in character, I would have had no idea, hence the question. So thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm giving that one for Hazel, who's grown up in the faith, and Remy, who was like, okay, how much of this, how much shrine do I have to go to? And probably being a little bit relieved when told, turn up once in a while and you know thank them for the strength to keep doing his work, and you're good.
Okay. So yeah, then okay, having that answer, I'll just leave it at that, and we can continue on to the store. The question answered.
Yeah. The dwarven family, it appears, running the shop, actually also looks foreign. I mean, very pale, very blonde, very hot and uncomfortable. Except for a very small boy, maybe 6 or 7 years old. So we're looking at Skylar's age, who sort of pads up to you all and just goes, "You adventurers?
Yep.
Correct. Yes.
Mama, Papa?" And I look and say, He's going to ask for a story. He wants to be
That's
an
him.
adventurer when he grows up."
Oh boy. Hmm.
Mama and Papa say that it's a thankless job, and a lot of people get smushed.
Speaking of smushed, should we tell him about the earth element or the cockatrice
Or the thing with the bunny
or
incident.
the bunny incident? No, that wasn't really so much an adventuring as it was a
That
misunderstanding.
was adventuring. You got turned into a rabbit.
There was a misunderstanding. I'm trying to let you live that one down for once.
Yeah, this little blonde cherub of a dwarven boy just.
We've been through a fair bit.
They're not telling.
Say it, Darvin.
We were escorting a merchant, and yeah, they an earth elemental sprang up out of the ground, and hijinks ensued. Luckily, the horses were okay. The horses were all right. They panicked and broke free and ran off, but they were okay. Let's see.
How'd you smush a rock?
A lot of
Carefully.
yeah. Well, Remy here ran up to it, got a few hits in. I ran forward and made a big boom.
I just got smushed by the rock.
Yeah.
It didn't like him all that much.
Yeah, it
Weird.
seemed
Kept
it was.
going after him.
Yep.
At which point, the little blonde boy looks at Verseth, and apparently he is just Kid Magnet, because it runs up, hugs him around the cuff, and go, "I don't know why the rock didn't like you, but the rock was mean."
It was. Someone who's no longer traveling with us for good reason wanted to go off and research some stuff that she had to take care of. So nothing bad. But she actually killed it. Got the last shot, as it were, quite adeptly, I might add.
At which point, you get Flitty going, She took its head off. Why aren't you telling the bit where a dagger thrown by the Clarity Lady took its head off?
I was
You're
about to
a
get there.
bard!
What?
Well, I'm not singing it.
Go
Bards
Clarity.
don't just sing.
She did an awesome. She threw the dagger, it hit the thing, and its head just flew off.
Wow.
I didn't even know they could lose their head like that. But I mean, I guess it's rock and rock splits. But yeah,
She threw it. He threw that dagger really hard. I was not expecting its head to just pop off.
that was pretty spectacular. And then it like kind of rolled a little bit and just kind of crumbled.
Went off somewhere. The head just
Yeah.
gone. Whole body, poof.
Yep. So when they go all at once. So you need to step back. But yeah, we Froseth here was a little smushed, but none the worse for wear overall. So yeah,
Praise Paylor's healing.
the cockatrices were also on this same. This was the cockatrices were earlier, weren't they?
No,
the
they were
cockatrices
after.
They were
First,
after.
the
Okay.
rock tried to smush him, and then you got turned into a rock.
That. Yep. Well, I remembered that. Yeah, it was what 10 of them, I think.
At
Uh,
least.
Was it
Something like
10?
that.
I'm not really sure how many there actually were because I got turned to stone after like three of them showed up, and so yeah, that was a thing. The rest of you might have to tell that one because I was turned to
Had
stone.
to use this. I pull out the hammer from the bag of holding a lot.
Mama, Papa, I want one of those.
You'll have to be.
The
You'll have to be a
parents are
cleric.
just face palming.
You'll have to be a cleric.
Is that hammer taller than the kid is?
Oh yeah.
By a fair bit.
Much.
This is a
The hammer's
dwarven
large enough to be
6-year-old.
Comparable in size to my torso. This is a big ass hammer.
Like 5 foot long, I think.
Can I try to hold it?
Very carefully, okay?
Remember what they were saying about smushing?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm crouching down real close to pass it horizontally as carefully as possible.
This
Like,
kid,
I don't know,
this
I'm, like,
kid,
mostly holding
pick-
it, the
pick
kid
some-
tries to hold it.
yeah, it takes the hammer, and Hazel lets go, and he's fine. It's just,
Whoa!
woo!
Then.
Yeah, guess who rolled a natural 20 for handling a hammer about twice his size?
Hazel, and you know what? I'm not going to say that. Never mind.
Praise Paylor.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Lock in the
Praise
sun, and
Baylor.
therefore you are worthy.
Yeah, except Mama and Papa aren't really all that big on that quite that much sun. I mean, real sun, not Paylor sun.
Fair.
Yeah, I can understand that. Not everyone is. We met someone who really would want to be in the sun.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. Ooh, no.
Looked a bit like Nye, just
You guys completely
Darker.
forgot that drow, people don't like drow.
Mhm.
And you're talking to dwarves.
Yeah. That's why I'm not saying. That's why I just stopped it. Oh.
But Hazel, on the other hand,
On the other hand,
at
yeah.
which point you get the father taking the hammer, handing it back to Hazel while the mother is dragging her son away.
Yeah. Hazel, just
sorry.
I'm sorry, I think we're closing now.
Hazel.
Sorry. I am so sorry.
What's wrong with elves that live underground? We'll tell you when you're older, dear.
That's a good idea. Only when older.
Excuse me, we are closing now.
Sorry. So sorry. And
Oh.
out.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Well, so much for getting supplies, Hazel. Thanks.
Well, there are
There's-
other
How
shops,
was I supposed to?
but
Let's
We're-
look for
We're done
another
here,
shop.
apparently.
We're doing that thing again where people look at us like we're from way out of town.
Because we are.
Well, that's accurate.
Metaphorically.
It's not just that. Darwin and actually everybody but Nye is. Oh God, that actually occurs to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nye really doesn't understand because he's familiar with Drow, but from when he remembers, the Drow were still just underground elves.
Oh. Oh boy.
Because remember, Nye has been apparently in suspended animation for quite some time. So for
Nah,
him, it's just, well, all you guys know is Hazel put her foot in it because she sees the good in everybody and didn't remember the story that she told about, how the Drow went bad.
Mm-hmm.
For Nye, they've never been bad. They were actually closer to wood elves of the type that he was with. It was kind of a it was a symbiotic kind of trade relationship. So that twigs for him, and so now he's really confused.
Yeah. So, yeah, Hazel. Remember
Yeah, I'm remembering
that
that
story?
now.
Is Ben? I
Yeah.
don't think Ben's still connected. He hasn't moved. Oh
Oh
no,
no,
there
there
he
we go.
is. Okay, good. You just
Uh,
do still very well.
yeah, exactly. I was like,
Alarmingly so.
um, as opposed to me fidgeting over here like every 2 seconds. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I
Thank
do
you
the
for
same, but it's because my arm and shoulder are still.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Ugh.
Anyway, so yeah, Nye, to clear up confusion, the drow that you you were gone, for lack of a better way to put it, for a real long time, weren't you?
That's what it looks like. I
Okay.
never did. Well,
Okay. Well, because the drow, the way they are now, I don't know how long you were gone, but they weren't always the way they are now, and so they might not have been then.
we traded with them. They weren't. I mean, they were sometimes driven to desperate acts because living underground is not really an elf thing, but they weren't bad people.
Yeah, they kind of went sideways, and I'll give them the story, give them the
I
cliff
think we
notes
met
of
the
that.
only one who didn't go crazy.
The cliff notes is that black ooze that these guys have been trying to fight tainted pretty much all of them
Yeah.
and led those who were tainted to kill those few outliers who were left.
hmm So yeah, and of dwarves being underground and drow, and there's no love lost to say the least. And Hazel, yeah.
So we just told them you're friends with a drow, and they.
Yeah, that
We said
kind
we
of
met one.
Yeah, but
yeah.
clearly weren't
Thinking
Like-
unfriendly.
Yeah. So they kind of took
Yeah.
exception to that. I mean,
That
I
there's-
understand it. It's not right, but I get it. So
Yeah, it's just.
it's okay, Hazel. Like not everybody sees the good so quickly that you do, and it's okay. It's okay. That's why you are who you are. Don't let this change that. It's a bummer. It stinks, but we'll deal with it. It's all right. In the meantime, I'll try to find another shop that we can go to.
Yeah. Want us to roll again?
And
Yeah,
see if
probably.
yeah.
I'll roll investigation.
5! My survival check is even worse!
Oops, that was
Wow.
supposed to be with advantage.
A nat one.
Re-rolling that.
Whoops. Didn't mean to double click. Would have been the first one, so the
Yeah.
7.
We are
Yep.
so bad at this!
At this point,
9.
at this point, at this point, the sun is getting on to setting, and you haven't found anything that you think looks suitable, And eventually, it's
Yeah, we got to.
at this point, it's probably Darwin who technically got the highest roll, who basically goes, "Why don't we ask Alice to stop in? Because she clearly knows the people, and
Mhm.
we can just tell her to outfit us and pay her back."
And not
And
mention who she's with.
yeah, and in character, I was actually going to suggest that at this point, given all the roles. It's going to be. I was like, look, I'm not finding anything, so let's just ask Alice, because she knows these people. We can either pay her back after the fact, or we can front her front her the gold outright. Either way, we'll just do that because she knows
Yeah.
territory both outside and in. So let's just. That's just. And meanwhile, you got things you got to do that are well. Okay, well,
2 hairs
you
past a
pointing.
freckle.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you keep looking at a watch that doesn't exist.
doesn't exist.
Although
Sorry.
you do hear bells of. I mean, it's not just a bong bong. It's a sort of a carillon of many different
Mhm.
types. So clearly, you will actually remember that the multi faith shrine in Goldendale did have a sundown gathering with a song of all the
Mhm.
gods
Mhm. So
before
let's go.
individual
'Cause judging
worships.
from that, we got to go.
Yeah, Alice is standing on the steps of this, and it's a beautiful building. It's quite large, sandstone pillars, and it's kind of got a Greek temple kind of feel to it. Little differences, but everything in its design is very much along the lines of the geometric and squares and triangles and that kind of thing. But it's intricate when you get close, but mostly it's big.
So pretty.
And she's leaning, and Alice is just leaning against one of the pillars and going, "You're a little less laden than I expected. Everything in the bag's a holding."
I
No.
said something less than smart.
Yeah.
Minor
We may.
technicalities.
Yeah, we're gonna probably need some help getting outfitted. Hazel
I'll
said the wrong thing to the wrong people, and they were closed. So.
I'll I need to hear this after worship, but
Mhm.
I'll go, I'll get what you need, and I'll present you with a receipt. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
That
Yeah.
works.
That works. Either way.
Anyway, come on. There's the. Oh, you guys haven't heard the God song with Bahamut's song in with it, have you? Oh, you're gonna have such a good time. Con and
Oh.
goes
Okay.
in. Yeah.
I'm just at this point. I have no idea what's going on, so I'm just going to follow along and just probably stay as quiet as I can for once in my life. I'm just
Yeah.
going to listen and watch.
The reason for the size of the building becomes apparent quite early on. Um, the ground level is actually divided up with sort of half height walls, and there's little shrines to the various gods in each. It's sort of divided up like a grid.
Hmm.
And up the stairs, there's it's kind of like pews, but it's more sandstone benches where the worshippers sit for larger services, which is where everybody is gathering at the moment. And when they say everybody, that's a lot of everybody.
Like,
Uh,
wow.
Oh boy.
Alice is just sort of going, "This is where looks come in handy. Come on." And she actually nudges a bench up in the front row for you guys, and her at one end, and it gestures to Remy, pats the bench. Come.
Remy, I'll definitely take a seat.
Kind of figured. Kind of figured.
And I'm on the other side of Remy.
Yep. I'll sit down next to Hazel.
Froseth's probably better off at one end because, again, tails are an issue.
That's what I was going to say. I was actually about to suggest that.
Yes.
I'll motion over 9.
Yeah, in any case, you guys have arrived basically just in time because clerics from the various gods step forward into their own little grid squares and on what appears to be a pre-agreed signal, light torches on either side of their shrines, and then the song begins. Now, Hazel's obviously heard this a fair bit. She grew up with this. Darwin and Furseth heard it once. Remy's probably encountered it a few times, and she's more familiar with this version because the Belarusians include Bahamut for fairly obvious reasons. For Nye, this is the world in song. For Darwin and Furseth, there is an undercurrent that was missing in the first time they heard it that they didn't really realize was missing, but now that they've heard it, they won't be able to unhear it. It's a beating of a massive heart and the beating of gigantic wings as an undernote to the whole thing. The song lasts for about 10 minutes. It's a longish hymn, but it feels at once over too soon and like it lasted forever. At which point, you get a dragonborn who appears to be copper. It's hard to tell with the torchlight and all of the rest of it, basically saying, we will now open the shrines for individual devotions. And there's various bits of murmuring and people heading back downstairs to the various shrines for... And the grid squares are pretty big, so you can fit a few people in for doing their prayers. But from the top, from the top where you're looking, you'll notice that those who are very clearly linked to the gods, like clerics, paladins, if they happen to be there, they are very much given precedence. Everybody over in the Palor shrine, which is smack in the center of this whole thing, they're doing their own bits of song, and Hazel is like, I need to be down there.
Zoom.
Yeah, Alice is basically directly on her heels. So, and as for the rest of you, there's if anybody wants to be involved in any particular devotion, I would recommend it for Remy, but
Yes, Remy is going in the right direction.
yeah, Tritherian's shrine is not overly well trafficked in this particular setting, but it's there. It's at the far edge of the room, but it's sort of centralized in the grid, just to apparently in token that justice is an important thing, as is vengeance, but it's a little bit dwarfed by the gigantic platinum dragon shrine next to it, because Bahamut does his own version of justice. Tritherian's is a darker, harsher form of justice, and it's acknowledged as important, but in a place like this, they like to focus on the less stagnation variety.
Bit less like a murder blender.
Out of curiosity, I'm out of character. I can't remember now the name of the the name of the god for there was a specific one for music.
Broncala.
Broncala, that's what it was. I'll see if there happens to be one,
Oh,
just out of
there
curiosity,
very much definitely is one.
and
Remember,
I'll go.
this is a place of bards and singers and poets and
Mhm.
philosophers, and Broncala
Yep.
deals with a lot of that.
And I don't, I mean, I don't have. I'm not anti God or anything like that, so I'll go down and pay my respects in
And
whatever manner seems
mo
appropriate.
most when you get down there, most of usually people go to these shrines to make offerings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Remy, the followers of Tritherion take a knee, and occasionally, depending on how important what they're praying for is, will maybe offer a drop of blood in token that if blood needs spilling, it's getting spilled.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the followers of Palor just focus on the sun that they have spread throughout the world. Um, for Broncala's followers, they offer music. So
I was,
when
yeah,
he gets there, he walks into the little grid and he couldn't hear it before, but as soon as he crosses that, it's just song. It's this massive jam session
um,
of
and
prayer, you know.
hearing that, I'm gonna try. Okay, having gone through the open market and paid very much attention to the way the sound moved in there, I'm going to try to replicate that in VO form in some fashion, just a little, and because that the sound of the city, as it were.
I can see that, but if you're actually going for from a physics point of view,
Mm,
rather than a mood piece point of view,
hmm.
because you seem to be going more for the actual phonetics. If you're going for the actual phonetics, you're at disadvantage.
Yeah, that mm, that wasn't more. I was trying to go more for the how can I put this? Like not the actual, like not actual words or anything like that, but just the overall quality of the sound.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You're trying to
Oh,
imitate
mm,
a dozen or more different kinds of instruments on
mm,
one.
gotcha. Okay. Okay. That wasn't. Yeah, I see what you're saying now. That wasn't what I was. That okay? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Damn. All right. Well,
You
barring that,
can
then I'll just
you
try to
can
jam in.
yeah, I mean, in which case, straight up performance roll.
Okay.
I hope your rolls are better.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Let's see. 18.
Yeah, you fit right in, and when you do join into the song they're making, what you realize is that they are doing the mood of the market. They're doing with the market in sound what I do with characters in sense, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
The
very much.
emotional quality, not the sonic quality.
Right. Which is what I was originally trying to, but I was expressing it completely wrong. So thank you.
Yep. Froseth, Nye.
I have no idea what to do. I'm just trying not to be disrespectful.
Well, you do have. I mean, there's Obad High is one that your people have worshipped. Is
The green one of the forests,
yep.
yes.
So you can always pop in and just be like, uh, thank you for the lunatics. They're at least amusing.
These strange but lovable non-forest people.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've been called worse.
There's not a lot of followers of Obad High, but the Janissari that you met in the starlit sky is there, and she just gives you a nod and hands you Basically, it's an oak branch. Well, twig more like, with a leaf still attached to it. You didn't seem to have an offering, so.
Aw.
Thank you.
I'm like, hey, for a minute there, I was a forest. I was of the forest. I was a bunny.
Well, that's down to you. Frosa?
Froseth's just gonna find a quiet place to meditate.
Okay. Yeah. Perception check.
Everybody or
Yeah.
Roseth or oh, okay,
Everybody.
my bad. All right.
Froseth actually gets advantage because he's looking from a distance.
1 moment.
21.
10.
Actually, it makes sense.
19.
Hazel would notice. Yeah. Remy?
Hmm?
Okay, now he's not moving.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, now that is Frozen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Not
that's
Frozen.
Frozen.
That's somebody else.
he's not. He's not usually quite that still.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
well, given that we're
Oh,
yeah,
there we
we
go.
definitely lost him. Hazel and Darvin, who's sort of scanning the room and actually being amazed that nobody else is actually hearing this, will note that after she's done her appropriate worship for Palor, which Hazel, given her role, notices that there's a lot more depth to her worship than just a casual follower of Palor. She spends a bit of time in the grid square that no one else is in. Oriel of the Snows. Why they have the Winter Princess shrine in here, but then again, so many adventurers from so many different parts of the world. But yeah, she pays her respects there and then goes and waits for you guys by the door.
Ew.
I heard it and I was just like, well, everybody, okay, they have a need. I'm not going to question it.
And of course, Hazel might understand a little bit of that because Oral Miss has always been her favorite, apart from Palor.
I mean, I heard it because I was, listening and playing, so that's why I picked up on it. But I'm just, I'm thinking, well, they've got them for everybody, and if they have them for everybody, it stands to reason somebody's gonna need it, need the space. So sure, okay, and yeah, okay, sure. I'm just gonna kind of roll with it. I'm not gonna question it.
Yeah, and since we're coming on to
Mhm.
that time and we've still lost a noms, at the very least our actual internet has stabilized, though the early parts of the session are going to look awful.
Yeah.
We'll take our break now.
Mhm.
If anybody's still staying at their computers, can they try to get noms back?
Mhm.
If I don't know how long he's going to be out, but he's off roll 20 as well, so.
Oh yes, I see that now.
Yeah, I saw when he went, but we'll come back in like 5 minutes or so, depending on when we get a Remy back, because, Remy doesn't necessarily want to miss hanging out with,
With Alice,
yeah. And we're back. I've just finished scaring the almighty crap out of these people because it's the only way to get them to shut up. Except for Antheus. And Antheus sees sense, which is funny because he's the one who doesn't know me quite as well as the rest of you. You guys know what I'm capable of. Antheus just suspects. We are currently short a Remy because poor Nom's lost power in the building. So that is why we're back to the somewhat unbalanced screen thing. Except, Smeagol, can you please not wiggle quite so much? Because I keep getting Smeagol blur, and it kind of hurts my head.
Yeah, stopping now.
Thank you.
Oh, good. It's not just me.
No, I was getting.
I hadn't noticed my camera's doing that looping thing.
But no, you move and it blurs and.
Ow.
Yeah, it wasn't showing such on my camera, so I couldn't tell. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it's difficult to tell you to stay still, but please try.
Yeah, I have ways.
Okay. These guys have just finished sunset devotions at the Gods Hall. Actually, Hazel, because you actually noticed and would and actually probably care a bit more than Darvin does, make me a religion check.
Oh boy. Nine.
No, you have no idea how this fits. No, this makes no sense. Maybe like you, she just likes oralness and has decided to say thank you for it being coming in like a month and a half or so. Maybe.
When I wander over to where we're meeting up out just outside. Almost is my favorite holiday too.
Subtle.
It's got a lot to recommend it. That's not all of why, but it's part of why. I'm kinda surprised I didn't see your Dragonborn friend there at Bahamut's, but I guess monks don't really do the god thing.
I don't know yet. Apparently the whole outside world thing is new to him in general, I think. Hell, it's new to me, so
It's just the one that breathes snow. You kind of expect to maybe you could at least say hi. Just giving him a bit of a I'm just funning with you smirk.
I mean, it caught my ear definitely. But I think I wasn't gonna question it. Not my business. But
Yeah.
I was curious. Sure.
Well, let's just say that it's nice to actually have the freedom to pay respects. The
Hmm?
let's just say there's a reason that I can use thieves' tools. Family
Okay.
business, and I turned out to not be suited to it
Oh.
at all. For
So you
like,
you wound up being not what you were expected to be?
oh, very, very definitely.
Welcome to the party. It's a running theme with most of us.
and hug.
I, okay. Yeah, right. And I don't.
Detach.
Thank you. I don't believe none of you want to do an insight check. I actually act for you people, and you don't actually respond to any of it. It sucks.
Oh, I want to now.
Yeah, guys, I do actually act. There were reasons.
10.
One moment.
No, you just think that she's nervous.
20.
I think
What are you?
17.
13.
this
Holy shit, people!
this was actually a fairly high TN for the specifics. You two, Nye and Darvin, you can both tell that there's way more to this than just
Hmm.
I didn't want to. Froseth, on the other hand,
Oh my god, I'm as clueless as a post today.
It's my first good roll today.
We've all been rolling so badly. Great. Remy,
Hey, I got an
that
18 on my
fucking
performance check.
one!
I got an 18 on performance, so hey.
Hey, you were fine. Just almost every other roll today from all of us. I mean, Remy's alone was the fumble.
It was what was that? That was, oh yeah, it was investigation.
and that's what Froseth gets out of the whole thing.
Oh.
Oh my god, your expression was fucking wonderful. Oh my Antheus, I love you.
And Froseth isn't going to say anything because this isn't for him to just talk about.
Oh.
And given Hazel has not noticed, Darvin probably has a sense that Froseth has figured something more out than he has, but that's Froseth just does that.
I get the. I mean, obviously, I get the feeling that there is more to it than just that. That's probably very simplistic in how I put it.
Kinda, yeah.
At the same time, I don't really want to pry, but I'm going to say again, I am curious.
If we're really, really unlucky, you may find out.
Okay, then I'd rather not, because I'm unlucky is the last thing I want to be right about now, considering what we're about to go do.
Yeah, it's I'm asking this because you guys aren't always very good at remembering when you want to actually do a thing. You've got that whole Eldritch Sight thing. You will let me know anytime you're actually going to use it, right?
Oh,
I figure at this point I'm sort of doing that significant glances at each other behind the, like out of the person's line of sight. I don't want to literally say behind their back, but sort of like, do you think something funny is going on here non-verbally?
Yeah. From the reactions of Darvin and particularly Froseth, whatever it is, it's not bad. It's just awkward for her.
There's that sort of not wanting to pry, but there's also sort of the we're about to go risk our lives in company with this person, and if there's something's going to affect that, I want to know.
Well, isn't this when you do your
Eldritch Sight on.
Okay.
And begins everything, Vision. Oh boy.
Blink, blink, look away.
am I still? I'm I'm gonna go do the shopping. I'll give you guys a receipt when I get back. Because obviously you all have ideas, and I know I'm awkward. Uh, Ruby is just sort of giving you guys a look that somewhere in the region of if you people blow this for me.
Yeah, welcome to the awkward. It's also something we do.
Yeah, but I kind of need a break from it, and you guys we guys are gonna need the water and things, and
Yep.
I'll go and
Yep.
and tackle the dwarves. I don't know what you said to them, but they know me. I hang out.
You wanted me to tell you what I meant, what I said?
How about we talk about it later? Like we're gonna have a whole day's travel in the waste. We're gonna have stuff.
Yep.
Conversation is a good
you can
thing.
say that for then. Thank you again for help.
Hey, thank you, because again, I might actually get to go out and do what I should be doing. It's kind of awesome. And off she goes.
Oh boy, this is going to be a trip.
Yes, he's muttering to himself.
Huh?
Sort of, it's Sylvan for what have I gotten myself into? But as quietly as I can manage while actually still saying it out loud.
Yeah.
And I still understood it. So I'm like, if you haven't figured that
Did I
out by
actually hear
now, I don't
this?
know what to tell you.
Ruby,
I hadn't actually heard about the Earth Elemental till now.
and Remy sort of going, is there something I need to know about? Okay.
If Brosep's doing that, we're fine.
No, it's not something I feel comfortable sharing, and it's nothing that will be any detriment to us. There's no reason to share her business.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thought.
Okay.
That's all I
It does.
Nothing we need to know right now, and conversation. Maybe it'll come up. Maybe it won't. Let's not worry about it. Anyway, moving on.
I need to learn things now.
Nope.
It's not my fault your rolls have been shit.
No, you don't. Not that. I'm going to go back.
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the Tipsy Pixie.
Kezia now. Thank you.
I have a date with murder.
Ruby just giving the look of like, yeah, my date is now shop for supplies, and there's something I don't know.
You'll maybe it'll get brought up later. Phrasing. Boom.
You're just getting look now.
I am headed back to the inn.
Yeah, the Tipsy Pixie is as jumping as it ever is. It's still more quiet and stories than raucous pub tunes, but the drinks bars to either side of the room are now open, and Kezia is at her usual, serving up 2 bottles of very dark red wine to a bunch of very well dressed merchants, human as far as you can tell anyway. There's a certain amount of leer.
Beeline.
Ah, hello to you.
Hi.
You are doing well, I trust?
Very. I
Always good to hear.
was wondering if, again?
Sorry, that was really loud. I apologize. Not in character. That was not in character.
She looks at the gentleman and said, "You see, this is why I do not have dealings with you. We choose, you see, who we accept business from. And even if I were not otherwise engaged, my interests do not lie in your direction. So I would ask you if you wish to be leering, please to be leering at someone else. I am sure that someone would love to take your money.
Oh, that's cold.
Ooh. I'm just watching this guy get shot down. I can't. I'm probably not in earshot, but
No,
I'm just.
it's a quiet enough place, and she apparently this you're allowed to do this here.
I'm just watching his face. I'm trying not.
There,
I'm trying to keep it all inside. Just watching.
there's actually a couple of them, and the looks on their faces is just clearly these guys are not from here, and they're used to a bit more. You get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And they look absolutely enraged at Emil, who's just. It gives a shrug that is the polite equivalent of a middle finger.
Okay. Given that they are enraged. I'm now watching them.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not going to draw swords enraged. It's I'm going to
Okay.
report her to the manager enraged.
Okay.
The kind of spoiled rich asshole not getting what he wants
Oh.
rage. So he
Oh.
turns
They have
to
the
them.
Karen haircut.
Yeah, so then they turn to the manager, and the manager just gives them the "fuck you" shrug. So
Gotcha. Okay.
they sort of deflate, take their wine, and go and try to find themselves another.
Fair. Okay.
My interests do not lie in the male direction anyway, so thank you very much for that. And yes, that would be fine.
Also, well, I got handed one of. I pull out the pomegranate, one of, and I have no idea how the.
Well, what you do? And she takes Hazel's hand, holding the pomegranate, reaches under the bar, takes a knife, cuts it in half, and opens it. Pulls out a spoon. You kind of eat like soup.
You're amazing.
It's fairly common fruit here. But yes, we will talk more about things after dinner. I understand that your various of your friends have plans for this evening.
Um, I'm going to walk up, having heard and seen that whole little exchange. I'm just going to lean in a little bit and just say, "You are a delightful person. You are amazing." I'll just leave it at that. Much respect.
Thank you very
And then
much.
I love this bar. I love this place. It's just made of hilarity.
Yes, Orend is doing something of a specialty of the house. Is chunks of lamb and various bits of vegetables on skewers and grilled with spices and flatbreads and various sauces and things. With a it's sort of a rice dish of spiciness.
I like spicy.
Somehow this does not surprise me at all.
Okay, that was in character. That one was in character. You know what? That was in character. And I just burst out, just like, "God damn it! I could a delight. I just wow, just wow."
And I have a wine that goes well with this. For all five of you is you would have to ask Orend about that because I only know that he will offer a price that includes a bottle of the wine. Show him what the wine is and pulls out another bottle of that really dark red wine. Pours a little tiny bit into a glass, looks between them, and offers to Darwin. I have a feeling that you have probably tasted more in the way of finer wines. It's under notes of it's a deep sort of oaky red with kind of this almost chili cinnamon undercurrent to it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is very rich and very plummy with that spice note to it when he sips.
Yeah, we definitely need Hazel. You're gonna like this, and if from what you described of the meal, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be very good. I expected nothing less, but kudos, bravo.
You must thank Emil for that. He has wonderful palate and he keeps the cellars filled quite well. This is where this is where the money this place takes in goes. It's expensive, but you see why.
Mm.
I love this place.
Oh, this place is perfect. It's very happy to see you, as is at least one of its employees. Actually, a faint little blush. Now
Speak.
go, have your dinner. We will speak about times when you have done that. And you've got another friendlier looking individual coming up for drinks. What she doesn't actually give him wine. She mixes a couple of clear liquids in this sort of almost pyramidal shaped glass and hands that to him. Off you go. Yes, and
Is wherever we end up sitting.
yeah, or if whoever's going for food is like, are we going to have that conversation again?
Nope. I no. It's gonna be just the I understood you were doing some lamb skewered bread.
We call them kebab. Shish
Okay.
kebab.
Excellent. Then we'll have that as well as there was the wine.
Hazel actually has the wine because there's no point in.
Oh.
Hmm?
Okay, for 5 servings plus
Mhm.
wine plus dessert, that is 5 gold.
All right.
And this one he can actually give you each your individual plates.
I'm trying to figure out where to.
I imagine that Darwin can probably help her out there because he sees
Mhm.
Hazel trying to do the waitress thing of balancing one on a
Yep.
hand.
And I'm like, here, hold on.
Concerned, like I don't think this is going to work. Help.
Yes, thankfully, by the time you take your seat at your table, Emil has thoughtfully put out glasses enough for all of you, so you don't have to worry about that kind of thing.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Thank you.
Emil just gives a not quite bow, but close.
Yeah.
At which point Remy's like, so I'm thinking not quite dawn we're leaving? Maybe a little later?
Probably.
Yeah, that was the general plan, I thought.
Well, we said dawn, but then we got not busy, but going to be busy.
Sidetracked.
Going to be
Maybe a
learning
little
things.
later. Maybe
Going to be learning a lot of things.
maybe a little later. Okay.
And
Learning things is good.
Remy does that trying to be subtle thumbs up thing again.
the biggest barrel of goofus ever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's par for the course.
And Flitty is nomphing around the various bits of salad and flatbread and various leavings bits and
Mm-hmm.
Offering bits of pomegranate.
nomph. Crunch, 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 crunch. Seeds! Yeah, Remy's like, you finally figured out how to eat that.
With some assistance, yeah, apparently.
I learned things!
Get just the raised eyebrow.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad I could assist, as it were.
that gets kind of look from Remy. And then just the head shake of okay.
Yeah, I didn't
Sorry.
look. I didn't expect her to go along with it, but I figured, I don't know. It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Just shakes her head again and
Exactly.
so anything else needs doing, saying?
I'm just enjoying spicy food.
Yeah, the meat is and it's not over spiced, that one where you can't even taste the meat anymore, but
Mm-hmm.
it brings it out.
Pretty much meat on a stick.
Have to wonder, is it causing
Kebabs are
any
a bit more than that,
reaction
but
to the wasabi incident?
No, you do not have the wasabi incident. This isn't the sensory delights of this place tend more towards the subtle than punching you in the face, which is why they take so amiss to the Rain Granary beer.
Oh, that
Of
was
which they
great.
still have some, by the way, because nobody wants it. Except apparently Nye.
Who learned his lesson.
Yeah, because it was bad. It was really bad. Yes, as you're making your way through your dinner, Alice, dressed a bit more for work, comes in with a decent sized bag. Clump. Okay. The water skins. I'm not all that great with actual amounts, but they hold a lot more water than they look like they hold. And you can just kind of keep refilling them, and they start leaking eventually, but it takes a good long time. But they're full anyway. Got some various hard wearing. The food bit was negligible as far as costs went. The skins, I didn't know how many you'd need because they hold a lot, but there's like 6 of us, so I got 2 because that ought to be enough to pass around, and they're not exactly cheap. So that's a total of 4 gold. But I'll take 2 because I'm going to want to keep 1. Because I'm actually going to be staying here when this is over.
Okay.
Works for me.
And and I'm gonna take an extra one out of my funds here, and just be like, for the trouble.
Oh, thanks. Actually, that covers the extra bit that I bet none of you also thought of.
Probably not.
Probably because it's not really a thing almost anywhere else. And she reaches into her bag and she pulls out a jar that looks a lot like the salve that Froseth made to protect wounds against the fog. But she says, You know how if you spend enough time in the sun, you burn?
Oh,
Hazel knows this. Her Miranda makes this. This is sunscreen.
Big praise Paylor for you picking this up.
Well, it's
Because,
yeah, and have seen a few sailors come in off into Star Coast back, a bit red, as it were.
yeah, it can get worse than that. I've seen people who go out even for just a day and they come back blistered and peeling from the heat and the sun. So yeah, I got
Wow.
I got a
Oh,
couple of jars of that as well. So the extra gold pretty much covers it. So great.
got a little.
yeah, no, by all
That's-
means, by
I'm
all means.
sitting up, looking at Hazel, and going, do we need to worry about the people who basically wear metal
Huh? Oh,
in terms of getting hot in the sun?
That's why we've got the extra water. I mean, most and it leans up to Remy. So you did the mercenary thing, didn't you? Yeah, and it's just I'll be fine. I've dealt with deserts before. I know what to expect.
good
Yeah,
point, though. Man.
it actually remembers back on Mount Paylor. Put me in a suit of armor, had me just run around the compound. I came back looking like this. I came back looking like a ruby.
And that would probably have been when Mama started sending sunscreen up to you.
Going out in the desert, I'm probably just gonna be like shining like with all the reflective scales.
Walking disco ball.
honestly, my first thought was Gondor calls for aid.
You think Gondor calls for aid? I think walking disco ball.
Either way,
I was going through. It's like that. He's going to be like fractal, shiny ridiculousness.
so which one of us gets the rhinestone jumpsuit?
Froseth
Great,
kind,
but lovable
Froseth kind of has
Mount
one
Forest
naturally. Shut up.
Fair enough.
Makes me wonder how sparkly he's been this entire day.
He's been. I mean, he has been shining like silver in the noonday sun. Well polished silver. Yeah.
I wonder how much he's gonna need. And I'm just looking at Rosa.
He's actually probably going to be okay. I mean, scales, from what I've been hearing from the various Dragonborn around, they don't burn that way. I mean, he's probably going to want to dump a bit of the water over his head now and then, because the spots between the scales might dry up a bit, but
He's all. God, that's gonna make him even shinier, isn't it? It's been all sparkly all day.
at which point she holds up that silver white hair, which is now back in the gold clips. You get used to it. This is, I have to go back to the actual table service now, but I'll see you. Taps Remy on the nose later. And it's just bye.
I mean, he's going to be learning things. A lot of things.
Getting the look.
Back to food.
To it looks a little longer to make sure Hazel's not going to say anything else, and then nods, goes back to her dinner. You okay, Ethan?
Yeah, just yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, and dinner effectively happens, and Is there anything further you want to talk about, discuss, plan, do in general?
I got nothing.
Here's a thought. What do we even know about Umber Hulks? Or did we already go over that? We already
did
covered
go
that.
over that.
Never mind. Brain fart. I remember now we did. Well, let's see.
Do we want to talk about how to find one?
Well, I mean,
We know where this one is, don't we?
Approximately.
yeah, the general area. I mean, I don't know that we know how to track it. They dig underground.
I figure make enough noise, it'll pop up and try to say hi. And
Probably. Who wants to be bait?
And Remy sort of going, Alice has been to these places before. She'll probably know how to find one.
good.
Right.
And if not, can't some of us track? Mr. Talking about non-forest people?
Looking at Nye. I'm a city. You know, as country as I am, I'm a city boy. So I can make a lot
Never
of
been one of my
noise.
strong suits, but I'll give it a shot.
We'll try and track it when all of us are in the right place.
Yep.
And then we'll deal with it.
Yep.
We could also try. Well, I don't know how the heck you'd trap one of those things, but that's also another possibility. Or somehow, you know, luring it to a particular spot so we can pick and choose where we fight it.
That you tend to need either something it wants to draw it in or something it fears to drive it away.
And besides, do we really want to wander more in a tomb that might have traps than we have to?
Right. That's my thought was, you know, get it to come to us.
But you're talking about luring it places. That means exploring to find a place.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, yeah.
I say we try and track it, and when we find it, we hit it until it dies.
It's as good a plan as any. Keep it. Yeah, no. Remy raises. Keep it simple.
That's usually that seems to be the usual method of going about things for us.
Yeah.
It's what works.
Remy raises a good point. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, and we can and Remy also had also another good point. Alice knows the area, so we might be able to get some insight in that way. But for right now, yeah, we'll just go with the simple. Find it and kill it.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
And Flitty's sort of going, do we know if the giggle breath's gonna work on that thing?
Mm-hmm.
So I
The
know
giggle
whether or
who?
not I should try.
Oh.
I blew giggle breath into the face of a thing made out of black tainting goo, and it didn't giggle, but it did everything it was supposed to do when you get hit with giggle breath, except giggle. I don't think it knew how to giggle, which is kind of sad when you think about it.
You know, I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, you're absolutely right. That was pretty. Yeah, I don't think it even had the mechanism, the ability.
Then again, maybe if it giggled, it would have just sounded crazy, and that would have been even sadder.
Ugh.
It had a face. Its face was made of mush.
And the gurgling.
You need more than a face to giggle. There's throat bits.
And lungs.
Yeah, that's true. I've gone fully into Sylvan.
And on my part, people are like, you're just getting, you know, and lungs. And you're like, what the?
Remy is just used to this by now, and
yeah, pretty much.
Goes back to her dinner, but you do have Flitty saying, we're leaving out the Dragon Man. And then
Oh.
swaps to Draconic. Sorry, Mr. Dragon Man.
It's okay.
And just sits on his head for a while. Because I still like you.
Oh, face it for us, Seth. You're Flitty's favorite. I mean, it's fair.
We sensible dragons have to stick together.
Which is exactly my point.
Puffs up all proud.
Fair. Yes. And Flitty, I'm serious as a judge. I meant it. You have every right to be as proud as you want.
Yay.
You are wonderful.
Thank you. You all are fairly good too. You are much less made of stupid than you used to be.
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, at that point, I'm like, like there's the visible like.
They were pretty much. Jaloy said, swap to Sylvan now. Front, tip to tail, front to back, side to side, 100% stupid. And actually does that squeaking
The
that she
squeak.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, we've come a long way.
They learn really, really well.
God.
Dessert, Hazel recognizes. Darvin has had on festival days only, and even then once in a blue moon. Furseth has seen the approximation, but not the full-on reality. And for Nye, this is whole new situation. This is ice cream.
I am made of squee. I am in fact made of hypersonic squee.
Yeah, your mom usually makes makes ice cream in various flavors for the first full day of summer every year. The longest day celebrations. Darvin had this at like some really important feast where they had wizards actually they paid wizard an obscene amount of money to do some kitchen work.
Yep.
But yeah, this is sort of a chocolate coffee, some kind of brandy booze kind of flavor of ice cream.
Nine.
Yeah, all
This
you
is delicious.
yeah, all you see is this bowl full of globes of something very cold.
This is good. Just careful, not fast. Fast is gonna lead to the
Ow.
bad tingles.
Wow, what a way to put it. And I thought I was the word. And I thought I was the
To
wordsmith.
the good tingles.
And I thought I was the wordsmith.
Just have some, but don't eat it fast. Hump.
She says, not taking her own advice.
Pretty much, yeah.
Small bites, slowly.
After having gone into full hypersonic squee for pretty much everything up until that point, so somebody who's hearing,
And I'm just sitting here. I'm watching the ginormous bite that Hazel just took, and I'm just sitting here going, 3, 2, 1.
Lift off.
Just
Well,
waiting for
more
it to
just-
hit. Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to hit. Waiting for it to hit. Hazel. 3, 2. There we go.
What happened to? Huh?
It's the cold. Eating it that quickly makes it hit your system really quickly. So going that cold, that quickly, kind of hurts.
It freezes the wizard man. It says it. He said it freezes nerves back here, and it struggles to reach his little paw
Mhm.
to touch sort of the back of his
Ba-
neck,
back, back, the back of the neck, back of the
back of the
throat.
throat.
But
That's
it
why
when he,
small bites.
yeah, we say freeze, but not permanently or anything like that. It's just you get really, really cold, really, really quick, and
Feeling better now. The whole breathing on the back of your own throat thing.
it it tastes good. But
Froseth
just
does
be
not have
mindful.
this problem.
No.
Yeah, Rosette is
I
just
mean,
like
he could just take it all at once,
You
but
degrade
that's not
things.
something he'd do. So,
Oh, except for that once when he just ate the entire orange sorbet orange, peel
yeah.
and all.
which was a thing of beauty and a joy to behold.
It really was. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Orange sorbet, orange.
It's one of those things they do in fairly fancy restaurants. They hollow out an orange, like you would a Halloween pumpkin, and then you fill it with orange sorbet. So they got that at the eponymous inn of Gray's Inn, and Furseth is presented with this, and he just picks it up and yumph.
Open. Like a giant trap door.
I don't think quite that bad, but anyway.
Right. Being very careful with the cold stuff.
Yeah, it's basically
It's-
it's basically tiramisu ice cream.
So eating this orange sorbet, would that be considered a frostbite?
God damn it! Why? We're going to die.
Is Nye going to react to his first taste of ice cream? Because I'm just gonna put that in the bank and let it accumulate interest until I actually have to throw things at you.
Yeah.
Small bites and slow until the first bite hits. And then it's large bites and fast.
Because Nye
Good.
has wisdom of Newt, frankly.
The impulse control of a whelk.
So yeah, you just see him nibble. And then about 3 seconds later, the ice cream
Yeah.
headache.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I see. Now I start doing that, and I do it again. I'm just like, 3, 2, 1. There it is.
They
Oh,
told you.
that was more of a forehead one than a throat one.
It radiates.
Mm-hmm.
Flitty is doing his part by cleaning up the bowls.
Yep. I only avoided it because I've made that mistake a long time ago. It's a rare thing, but I've had it once or twice. Yeah, I made that mistake the first time too. Never again.
I'm still bad at that.
You're just bad at impulse control. Not that I'm much better, but still.
It's 'cause it's tasty.
I
It's
mean,
really good.
it really is, yes. I mean, honestly, I'm probably going to come back here even after we don't necessarily need to stay here because I really like this place.
Reach over to Darvin. Scratch, 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 scratch.
Remy is just sort of looking between, looks at Darvin, meaningful look over at Marta, back to Darvin, and goes back to her.
Oh, I'm just getting like as Remy looks back at me, I'm just like just this very slight nod.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Just leaving it to that. That's just for me and Remy.
And everybody else who's watching, at which point
Well,
you do get Flitty sort of snuggling up a little closer to Furseth's head and in Draconic just going, I am very definitely going to be staying with you.
Seems likely.
It's
was about to be
going to get
interesting.
boinky.
Wow, I didn't know that. I'm just like, I'm like, I heard that. I'm like, that's when like it's basically the brain freeze reaction because I'm just like, I'm like, ow, that hurt. I didn't know that could translate. Oh God,
Did you just manage to get it into your nose?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't. That was no. That was just a reaction.
She only says that 'cause she did it with coffee once.
Ow.
Ow. Wait,
Ow.
Hey!
was I there for that? I was
No,
there for that one. No, I
no,
was not there for that. Okay.
no. You get flitty. They brought her in to mommy ladies because they wanted to make sure that her inside of nose was okay.
Oh yeah.
Because they said she could try the coffee, but just a sip. And her being her, she tried to make the sip as big as possible,
Mm-hmm.
and it did what coffee does, and it was really surprising. So she breathed it up the nose.
Oops.
Hazel and a shell nut.
She flies over to Hazel and sort of nuzzles her that bit behind the ear. Going, we still like you, but you hadn't tried many things yet, so you were trying everything all at once. Big, and then flies back onto Furseth's head.
Good.
And now she's trying all the new things.
But slowly.
I don't know if all of them.
Trying to. Not succeeding most of the time, but trying to. Hazel.
I was more
try.
talking about the pretty lady.
Oh, right.
Like, Darwin, what?
I'm gonna just not.
In any case, arrangements are made afterwards. Yeah, Alice just sort of yeah, takes Remy by the hand and it's like, we've got lots of adventure coming up, so let's kick it off on the right note. Come on. Just Remy.
Bye, Remy.
Just not a word. just
Not a word. Just dead silent.
Kezia is more subtle about it. She gives up her space at the bar to the midnight looking guy and just gives a little beckon from the stairs.
I make a
You're
mental note.
hypnotized following.
I make a quick glance at the midnight guy and just sort of make a mental note for future reference.
Meanwhile, Marta comes out and she's carrying a kind of ornate wooden box with a handle at the top. It's clearly her oils and everything, and just
Wow.
You will show me to your room now?
Yes, of course. I'm already up on my feet. And yes, I'm not sure what I'm. I don't know. I'm not sure what I want to stare at more. Just the collection. I'm like, wow, wow, okay, wow.
Yeah, with Marta, there's a lot to wow about.
Exactly. That's why I'm just like.
Which
coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back,
which
coming back. This
leaves
is going to be a thing
Is error.
which leaves Froseth and Nye.
at the table.
Just what a series of events these two have had to.
Just-
Remy
Just like
getting-
Froseth and Nye on ABC Friday nights at 9 p.m.
Remy gets hauled off. Hazel gets hypnotized up the stairs.
And Darvin is summoned
Just,
for his appointment.
Wow, the whole way. I'm just like Jeff Goldblum being all like, life finds a way. Just that oddly fascinated bemusement that he has in that movie.
So yeah, you've got the two quiet ones who haven't really had that much chance to talk.
Sitting there being quiet. Ah!
So, interesting new companion we have.
Yeah.
Interesting old companions we have.
Absolute menace.
Uh, I yeah.
Oh god, this is freaking. I feel like I've been waiting for Godot.
Frozen Death and Gilding Knife.
Oh god.
Nigh and Silent Fro. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
I'm on waiting for Godot. So yeah, no. Vladimir and Estragon, dragonborn and elf.
Now I kind of wanted to commission someone to draw it.
Well, in their own way, they're both Mr. Homeless.
Oh, all right. So we're just gonna. That's okay. That's the extent of that, apparently. Okay.
Roseth doesn't really talk unless there's something important to say.
It's like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
No, they talk pretty much all the
A
time.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Gildenkratz and Rosenstern. Anyway.
I'm just wondering if Nye has questions for the one who seems remotely sane. I don't know.
I think at this point it's Nye.exe has performed an illegal instruction and needs to be shut down.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm going to go trance. You good?
I'm good.
See you in the morning.
So, yeah, people have an interesting evening.
Education has been furthered.
Yeah.
I'm picturing a fading the tapestry montage.
Yeah, basically. I'm just wondering when Hazel's gonna get her diploma.
Well, matriculate some more and you'll get there.
There you go.
But let's
That's what we're
face
calling
it,
it.
something like that is always a work in progress. If you think you've learned all there is to know,
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, that's fine. It's Darvin not being quite in that particular level of full contact sports. Nonetheless, has basically, I mean, obviously he's never had aromatherapy massage before, but he has never been quite so relaxed in his life.
Yeah, this is even more so than coming back from
Well, I remember going noodle in the hot bath at the Sullivan
mhm,
plantation. This is more than that, particularly
mhm.
given that she does send him off for a hot bath after that to wash the oil off.
So this is not just relaxed. This is like more at peace also.
Hmm.
Like
Well,
just
Business as usual.
everything is at a very low, very tinted hum, which is rare, if ever, has been a thing.
yeah. Froseth, when he sleeps, gets a little bit further confirmation of his guess through his attunement with fire over the night.
Oh boy.
And Nye, as he trances, has something of a visitor. Hello, my champion.
Hail and well met, Your Majesty.
I understand that you are on a quest.
Large ones and small ones, yes.
I mean more the smaller one for the time being, the one that begins on the morrow.
Yes.
You'll find something there. A pendant. Green, like the bow of your healer. Find it for me. Bring it to me.
Find it I will. Bring it how?
I'll come for it when you're suitably undistracted.
As thy will.
And succeed well at that, and we may have to see about giving you a little bit more to work with for your larger task. Trance well, my champion. And she's gone.
Oh
Froseth,
boy.
make me a perception check. He's the only one who'd be even remotely close to.
And far less
11.
distracted than everyone else.
He does hear murmuring from Nye's room next door, because they're kind of across the corridor from the other ones. He doesn't
For, I
know.
hope, very good reason.
He doesn't know what's been said, and he only heard one voice. But there was a sense on the wind that there was a second. That when waking up from, oh, okay, yeah, no, I was right.
Oh boy.
Just seeing
Ow.
what, if anything, comes of that.
I'm trying to decide whether or not he'd go to check on that or not. As much as I want to, he probably wouldn't.
Even with some of the warnings that he's received, particularly given his history.
Oh, yeah. So I assume Nye and I are in separate rooms, so I'll
Yeah.
go and
You
knock.
you each got individual rooms that time. So, yeah, immediately after that, you're starting to settle back into trance, and there's a knock on your door.
Going over to the door,
And voila.
listening. Oh, hello.
Hello. I'm sorry to bother your trance. I just thought I heard you talking. Is everything all right?
Everything is probably all right. Yeah.
Deception check. Yeah, that's not what he was asking. You know it. And insight from Froseth. We're doing contested here.
Deception.
Oh wow! 5 to 15.
Bullshit!
Considering
Basically-
that,
It's like this big flash. It's basically this big flashing sign on his forehead. Like, that was unsettling, and I have no idea what to make of this. But I'm going to say it's fine anyway because I have
Just all of that in neon.
yeah, just it's more sort of shit just got weird.
I love the at the end. That's what really sells it.
Like Process definitely has a look on his face where he like it's
like,
obvious
uh-huh.
it was bullshit.
all right, come in.
Okay, I'll go in then and
And I sort of like sub vocalize in Sylvan, like, it's okay if I tell them about this, right?
No response. But there's not. You
It's
get-
not a no.
Yeah, you get the feeling that you'd probably feel a glare if one was being shot at the back of your head, so you're probably okay.
Yeah, the out of character. These type of people, you want to be really, really sure. Out of character.
They're arch-fae. You can never be sure.
I mean, this is true.
All glory to the kindly ones.
So the king and queen whom I serve, and in this case, one of them particularly, the queen, there's something important to her where we're going, and she told me to get it.
okay.
They're not usually that direct.
One thing that Nye would probably have figured out, usually when they speak to him, they speak to him, not one or the other.
Hence me emphasizing one of them in this case.
Huh.
I don't dare disobey, but I think this just got even more complicated than it was.
That's par for the. Well, I guess that saying wouldn't really be a thing.
I'm sure
That's
there's games out there that could make that work somehow.
Yeah.
If not, I'll invent one just for you.
Par for the. Par for
I've only said that out of character, so hey.
that's expected of us at this point. I'm used to being the one getting the weird visions that complicate things.
Hmm.
Oh Christ, he doesn't know about that.
Oh, we're gonna bond over visions. This is so cool. I'm
Bond
loving it.
over tripping balls because the universe deems it so.
This is so cool.
The what?
I thought I spoke fairly clearly there. I'm usually the one getting the weird visions
Wow.
that complicate things.
Was not so much. No, I understood you, but what?
Antheus, I love you. It was the. I thought I spoke pretty clearly there. That was just so perfect.
Let them finish. Go on. Let them continue.
I understood all the words, but what? What happened?
Short version is my connection to the elements. They show me things sometimes that have helped us with what we're trying to do. Pretty much all the time, but usually makes things. Well, we realize how much more complicated things are. Were.
Got anything like that now?
That would actually be a good time to actually try out whether or not you can
Yeah.
pick an element. As a reminder, fire was effectively true sight to see what
Yeah.
really is. Earth was home. Water was shadows of the past. Air is a little bit of everything, but usually warnings. Occasionally from the future, occasionally just from maybe right in the next room.
Huh. Something important. I'll try. Well, I don't know. We're in a desert. Water might not work so well.
Well,
Okay.
there's bound to be, well, a well.
Oh.
Shut up.
Or an oasis or thing, or whatever the plural is.
You said
I'll just-
an oases, so you start with a singular and then a plural with it.
Whoops.
Shut up. But yeah, it's a city. It's bound to have a water supply.
Yeah.
So you're not constrained by that. I'm not saying you have to do it, but I'm saying you're not constrained from doing it.
Let's see. Well, let's start with air then. Want to see what I can find out about this pendant he meant.
He didn't
You
mention that it was a
you
pendant.
didn't mention the pendant? No.
He mentioned a
You just
thing.
thought something. Okay, never. I got things mixed together.
Okay.
Can you tell me what it was she wanted you to get?
She said a pendant. Green. Didn't
That's-
mention the shape or anything else about it. Just a green pendant.
Okay. So yeah, in that case, I'll try using air, find out if it'll tell me anything about this pendant, any sort of warning.
It upsets a balance, but it's not necessarily a bad thing because the balance will be upset if he doesn't as well. It will give power to the capricious, but the capricious, as frightening as they are, need that power because the alternative is worse. He does see the pendant briefly. It's a very simple teardrop shaped. It looks like a chunk of jade, very dark jade, the color of Hazel's hair bow, attached to a fairly simple black choker, which looks like velvet, and given that it is sitting on a piece of stone in a tomb somewhere should be faded and probably eaten by things, but is completely intact.
Okay. Well, that worked better than I thought it would.
Incidentally, the roll for that was a 17.
Hmm. So let's see. Yeah. So guidance from air at least suggests you should do this. It'll upset a balance, but it's needed.
Upset. Oh. Why is it needed? Do you know?
Uh,
I said a lot of things,
yeah,
so
you did.
to
I'm
remind,
having trouble recalling.
the balance is going to be upset from the other side anyway, so while it looks like it's upsetting the balance, in the end it'll keep it, and it's a powerful item, but for all giving power to the capricious is dangerous. The alternative's worse.
So it's damned if we
So I'll
do, but
pass
more
that.
damned if we don't.
Furseth is a wise soul and has been at this much longer than I now. The indication is that the worst is probably the thing that they all originally banded together to fight.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll tell everyone else about this in the morning, yeah? No need to
Yeah.
ruin nights.
No.
I don't think knocking on their doors would get you much, but profanity at this point anyway.
Maybe some throne betting.
I was about to say, even if you managed to get the door open, you'd probably wind up with something chucked at your head. Sorry.
Yeah, that's one of those don't bother me unless the world's ending.
It
About
is.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll go back to my room and
And on that note, we are at about that time, and we will reconvene in 2 weeks when the Stride of Pride trio come downstairs and get to hear about the newest bit of absolute
Plot
nonsense. I don't know if it's so much a twist. Does that really count when the NPCs you're dealing with are just by nature twisty? It seems really straightforward from their point of view.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, everything's a straightforward when it's a Mobius strip, but hey.
That's a
Speaking
little
of
too
things that are-
one-sided for this particular mess.
I mean, given
That was
that
bad.
yeah, that was no.
He started it.
Look, the anyone that mentioned the twist, I'm like, hey.
Uh,
We
well, I'm
will
a,
we will meet back up in 2 weeks. Hopefully by then I will have recovered from the pun damage. Night all.
Night.
Night.